Welcome to Web of Light. Here at Web of Light, we weave a web of light through the world by bringing you interesting guest ideas, thoughts, and new ways of being. Here at the Web of Light, we invite you to contact us. I'm Dr. Kevin, and you can contact me at drkevin@weboflight, D-R-K-E-V-I-N @weboflight. Let us know if you've recently joined us, because we're picking up stations all the time. We are now on stations from Maine to California, but we don't always get notified. So if you've recently joined the Web of Light family, send us an email and let us know so we can welcome you. Also, you're welcome to suggest show topics or even guests that you'd like to see on our show. And if we can make it happen, we would certainly do that. This month's guest co-host is Lori Otto. Hey, Lori, how you doing?
Dr. Kevin, I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm hanging out somewhere between fabulous and fantastic.
Oh, that's a terrible place to be, isn't it?
I just kind of go back and forth. It's tough, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, taking one for the team. I like it.
You know, I always say that you can go into the world and decide that you're going to have heaven on earth with some hellish moments, because it happens.
Man, to all of us.
Or you can have hell on earth with some heavenly moments. And, you know, I just like having heaven on earth with some hellish moments.
You know, I just keep saying my life's pretty awesome right now. Life is good. Life is very, very good.
So you are winding down. You have been a co-host with Norm Moody on Norm and Friends for 2 years now?
Almost 4.
Almost 4?
Almost 4 years.
I blinked.
Yes, it went by. Spirit is leading me in another direction. I don't quite know what it is yet, but you got to listen to Spirit.
Absolutely. Well, you know that as you wander in any direction, that there's always some space for you here when you want to come visit.
Thank you.
We love having you. For those of you who have not seen the show I did with Lori last year, that started, it was because of her that we got Wonder Woman.
That's right.
That we got all the Amazon warriors on Black Panther.
That's right.
We got the Me Too started, because before all of that started, last year you were talking about female empowerment and and how necessary it was for women to come out into the world and be in their power.
Absolutely, and I am so thrilled to see all the women standing up. And I mean, you know, so many people stepping into their power now. It just fills me with so much joy. And I'm all for the Me Too movement, and you know, and I love that that's not just women. That's women, men, children, anybody who's been a victim is standing up.
Well, and I think that's important. And the one thing that we've said on the show a couple of times on other shows is we do have to be very careful, because there are people, and there have been a few, there haven't been a lot so far that I've heard of, but there are a few people that have spoken up that made it up.
Right, and that is the sad part.
Yep.
But you know, we can tell, most people can tell who's telling the truth and who's not if they pay attention.
The ones that kind of go up and down really quickly, no one else comes out, nobody says anything, and there was always some shakedown money that was involved somewhere down in the process. And some people are just saying, I'm not going to pay it.
Right.
I'm not going to be scammed. So just because somebody says it does not always make it true. So we do ask the viewers to be, you know, a little discerning. Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. Don't jump on the bandwagon that everybody's guilty.
Yep. Because
there, you know, as often happens in life, some innocent people get caught up in the fray, and we have to use our discernment to know which is which.
And today's quote that I wanted to share with you: the ultimate lesson all of us have to learn is unconditional love. Amen. Which includes not only others, but ourselves as well.
Amen. It's the mantra of my life.
It's Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. My father actually worked with her.
Really?
Papa was doing education, and she came in and she was a guest lecturer and taught. And she actually wrote him a letter and stayed in touch with him for right up till her death.
Wow.
She you know, was very impressed by my father, and my father was very impressed, and they became friends. I unfortunately never got a chance to meet her. And the positive story I want to share today, and then we'll introduce today's guest, that Principal Tyson Jones had a goal for his 900 students at the Mary Moore Elementary School this year to slow down and find joy in the school. The efforts received a big boost when a group of school parents brightened up one of the traditionally dreariest parts of the school, the bathrooms. 8 parents, 6 moms, 2 dads worked a total of 37 hours over one weekend to clean the bathroom stalls with power cleaner, sand the doors, paint them black, and then added pictures and inspirational quotes.
Nice. I love that.
Like, she believed she could, so she did. Kindness changes everything, and your mistakes don't define you.
I think that's spectacular. I wish every school would do that.
Yes.
I have a friend on my local PTA. I'm going to have to talk to her.
You know, it's so important that we start empowering our children young.
Yes.
And we show them the power and the positivity of even mistakes.
Right.
That it's more about the fact that you tried and that you move forward than you sat on the sidelines and criticized.
Right. I think it's so many people are afraid of failure that they don't do anything. And I think it is, like you said, right from the get-go, teach them it's okay to make a mistake because you learn, you grow, you advance.
It's only a mistake if you keep repeating it.
Right. And then it's a choice.
Yeah, then it's a choice. And it can be a defining moment. Speaking of choices, we have somebody who's made some interesting choices in his life who he's going to share today. One of his choices was to canoodle up with his twin flame about 20 years ago in Virginia, start a business. We had that twin flame of his, and you can tell she's a flame because of her red hair. She was on our last week's show. And came together to be a powerful healing force in the North Shore of Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, and beyond.
And beyond.
I'm not limiting them in any way.
Nope.
And that is Erin SIngleton is on. We've interviewed Sue before. Now
Yes.
Erin is up for his moment of fame. He's like, yeah, I've had more moments you can count. Founder of the Energy of Life, the EOL healing process, an inventor and a visionary. Erin is a master healer teacher with incredible intuitive insights and the ability to work with multiple energy frequencies simultaneously. His body restructuring technique, can you give me the body of a 20-year-old, Erin? Oh, I'm sorry. And multi-modality style amaze those who experience healing sessions with him. He incorporates more than 40 healing modalities into his healing work, which is performed both in person and distantly via phone. Erin was formerly an instructor at the Cayce Riley School of Mesotherapy in Virginia Beach. He continues to develop new healing and bodywork techniques and tools, including visionary acupressure, radical hands-on healing, and net neutral ion generator, the rings of Odin, and the AccuWand, and much more. Erin, welcome.
So glad to be here.
You know, we're glad to have you. And again, we still haven't exactly figured out, but we figured out it's been at least 20 years since we first crossed paths.
Yes, around that time.
And I did not remember that you were at the Cayce Riley School of Mesotherapy. When were you there?
I went there in '93 and then finished my training, and then I became an instructor at the school as well as working in the therapy department and had my own practice outside.
Okay, because I was doing stuff down there like in 88, 89, 90. I was gone by 91. Again, we talked when Sue was here about her crosses. Yeah. I didn't realize you and I had some near misses as well, so that's interesting.
I think you were there really before the school got started.
Yeah, it was in when I was there, because I didn't go to the school there. When I was there, though, they were doing a lot of like impromptu, fabulous conversations that would just happen, like this guest speaker from India or different people were coming in. They're just talking in the lobby, and suddenly you'd have all these people in there sitting wherever they could find. It was almost like being in a spiritual commune or something when I was at ARE.
That's very cool.
And I got a chance to meet May St. Clair. Did you get a chance to meet May? Was she still there?
No, not when I was there.
Okay. So anyways, I don't want to digress into that. Let's hear more about your journey and your journey of becoming a healer and where it's led you, and how did you first get involved with it? What was life before you became woo-woo?
I was a nuclear welder.
You were a nuclear welder.
Department of Defense, nuclear submarines and ships. And prior to that, U.S. Army.
Oh, so
So I transitioned from working on steel to working on bodies.
and you went from nuclear to neurons?
Exactly.
Hey. So what led you to decide to go from fixing ships to fixing people? What was that journey like?
1988, I developed chronic sinusitis. Just about passed out twice in one night, couldn't breathe. And when I went to my doctor, the x-rays confirmed how blocked I was. Went to my specialist, got shots in my nose, hurt like the dickens.
Ow.
3 months later, I was as sick as I was the first day I went to the doctor. Taking pills, doing everything they said. And I ran across a book, the Edgar Cayce book on health. And I had been buying these holistic books, but I never had time to read them. So I fumbled through the book and I found a recipe for chronic sinusitis. Pine needle oil, eucalyptus, tolu, benson, turpentine, 190 proof alcohol. So I made 3 stops: liquor store, hardware store, health food store. I bought these products, cost me about 60 bucks. Put it together in a little mayonnaise jar. And I would just block one side, inhale the fumes, and my sinuses were clear in a week and a half. And from then on, I was on the holistic path.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
How often people, how often it's our own getting driven to having to heal ourselves that opens that doorway. Now, obviously you had not read the book or the history of Cayce yet that told you could just put the book under your pillow and you'd wake up with all the knowledge.
Tried that, didn't work for me.
So you started that, you started as a massage therapist, actually? Now, you don't do massage anymore, do you?
No, I haven't actually done anything hands-on in the form of oils and massage in quite some time.
Well, if you ever want to get back in it and you need somebody to practice on, I'll volunteer. Just saying. Because I imagine you would be phenomenal, especially with all the extra information and knowledge you've developed along the way. So you went there, and when did you start the course of breaking out on your own, and what did that look like? What was the defining moment when you went, aha, I'm really here to change the world in this way?
Well, around 1994, actually started to have energy coming through me. So I didn't take any Reiki training or polarity or anything of that nature, but I started to feel the energy in my hands. I started to apply that in my massages, and there would be times when someone would be on the table and they're expecting a massage, and I just can't get my hands on them. It's like something's holding me back. And just from the energy, they would get off the table an hour and a half later and say that was the best session they'd ever had. And of course, you know, in the back of the mind, what we call the itty bitty shitty committee is going to town because they're asking for a massage and why aren't you doing a massage? And so I had to learn that to trust that message when it came through, that I needed to just stick with what I was doing.
So did you ever, quote unquote, go on and formally learn anything, or was it that you kept receiving like downloads and found that you were just the evolver of what you did?
Well, the things that I did learn formally, as far as the craniosacral therapy, hypnotherapy, and other forms of hands-on modalities and things, I expanded on those because I was able to see what I needed to work on before I opened the door and went in the room to do the massage. Okay, I would learn something and then I would adapt it energetically so that I didn't even have to touch the person to adjust their cranial bones. I could do it all with energy work. So as far as that goes, that's how I evolved from the hands-on to just the hands-off. But if I tell you your C3 in your neck is misaligned, because that's what I'm seeing, and I tweak it, your neck will align sitting right here. And that's where I have evolved to over all these years.
Well, and you know, and that's fabulous. So there's, first of all, I want to make three things clear for both you and our audience. That I am not one of those that's a be-all, end-all, it's all about taking education. Because every education we took, somebody along the way created it.
Right, no, right.
And so you're no less capable, none of us are any less capable of creating our own healing systems and, you know, doing stuff. So, but I always like to know, like, kind of what the path was, and I think that the viewer likes to know as well. And definitely the power of the hands-off is fabulous to be able to do that, especially because right now, a lot of people are continuing to have more and more touch issues. So it feels less invasive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I have to put out is, as somebody that's 95% water and I just can't get enough touch. So I'd still like the old-fashioned, yeah, put your hands on me too. Just because it's like, so you, so.
You're so cute. I just love you so much.
You know, I'm not looking to be a breatharian in this lifetime. When did it become like yours, and what do you call it? I mean, have you created a name for what you do? If I was to like want to call it something, or is it just Aaron's woo woo?
Aaron's woo woo kind of sums it up. Okay. Now, how it actually started. I had a friend of mine in Virginia Beach that was intuitive and could feel energy pretty good. So we would sit together 10 or 12 feet away from each other, and I would project energy to her, and she would tell me exactly what she was feeling and sensing in her body. And at that time, I was tapping into more of my ancient Egyptian past. So when you look at the headdresses of the gods in Egypt, and you see the sun disk of different sizes in different places in their field, well, I literally started to hold my hands there and project the energy through that disc, just as it was done thousands of years ago. And then from there, each time I moved my hands to a different area, she could feel that energy going to a different part of her body and describe to me what it was doing. So it caused me to look at those headdresses of the gods differently. They're not just ornamentation and a headdress. It actually showed the level of energy and healing in proportion like to each god, because they're so different in size and how many of them there are. And of course, Horus, the bird head god, had this huge solar disk behind his head. And when I would do this, not only could I affect her, but I've done this in, rooms of 200 or 300 people, and everyone in the room feels the energy. Okay. The only thing is, if you're doing this for an hour, your arms are toast after about 20 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
minor detail. We don't care how much pain you're in. Fix us.
So I really had to learn to bring that into me and to become the being that I was thousands of years ago. So the energy of life process is what came through as what to call it. And it really was about tapping into the ancient healing that I did as a priest of Ra thousands of years ago.
It's interesting because as you're talking, I just keep on seeing this visual of you as an Egyptian overlaid. Yes. And I'm sure you see the same thing. Yeah, we're both looking and going, oh yeah, I see the Egyptian.
Yep. And just when you talk about it, I can feel the energy.
Well, interesting. I pulled out one of my Egyptian shirts this morning. I was tempted to wear it.
Oh well, maybe next time. Next time. So, so I'm gonna actually put you on the spot for a second, and I'm gonna ask you, and you can say no, but we'll have it on tape, to do me a favor. I don't know what, but about a week ago, I did something to my left hip, and I've tried to work on it, and I've worked on it myself. Sometimes you can't. Could you like eyeball my hip for a second?
Keep your pants on.
I didn't say touch my hip. I'm a married man now. Besides, I'm sure that Sue packs a hell of a punch. But I would love some raw energy, like right here. It's like keeps on sliding out of place or something. I can't tell what it's doing, which is frustrating because you can't sometimes tell on yourself.
Well, really, your piriformis muscle in that outer hip area is tight. So that means you strain that a little bit. So the bringing in the energy and then projecting the energy is how I was able to not stress my arms and back and neck out so much, holding my arms up for an hour and a half. And by bringing the energy in this way and staying grounded, as well as allowing the energy to flow through the crown at the same time, works for me. Because for a lot of people, they really go into the upper chakras and the crown, but they become very ungrounded. So the energy of life process is always about being fully grounded and open at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now, another thing this does, it allows me to not only work on you, but if there's a room full of people, 100 people, I can work on everyone's hip simultaneously. I can work on everyone's muscles throughout the whole body, organs, glands, simultaneously. So that is one of the ways that it has returned to me, because the images that I have seen of me working on hundreds, if not thousands of people, when I was a priest of Ra in Egypt, I was standing, up high, beaming the energy down into the whole crowd.
Yep, that's what I saw. As you were describing it, I closed my eyes for a second as you were talking, because I could kind of just see you there doing it. And I can feel you doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense, because Jeff and I just joined the Y, and I just started doing some workouts and stuff like this, and so I think you're right on.
Some things don't change.
Yeah.
I don't care if it is 1,000, 2,000 years.
Thank you. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. Well, actually, I did mean to put you on the spot. Well, why lie about it?
Yeah, well, we are, yeah.
Hey, if I thought he couldn't do it, I wouldn't have put him on the spot.
Right.
Why not take advantage of the fact that I've got a very talented healer sitting across from me?
There you go. I like it.
So the energy of life healing process. Now, is this something? Now, this is coming through you from your connection of many, 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 many past lives, because it's more than Egypt.
Yes.
It's definitely more than Egypt, and some of it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's older than Egypt.
Well, some of it is actually ancient Andromedan, from the Andromedan star system.
I was going to say, because I can feel something that's, when you were working on it, I found something that actually felt older than Egypt. So that would make sense to me. Now, is this a process that you can teach, or is it one that just because of the past lives that you've had, it's one that you've brought forward?
Well, we teach it in our ideals process, the intuitive development training that we do at our center.
Okay.
So it is something that anyone can learn. And as always, when someone is learning something, it depends on their level of receptibility. And if you're receptible, you can learn it and you can do it. And then it's a matter of working with it. So you have to think of any time you've been working with something for 25 or 30 years and you're teaching someone who's just going to be working with it now for a year. They're not going to be at the level that we are, of course.
Right.
But over the next 10, 20 years, if they continue to work with it, then they will continue to get some of those same or similar downloads of information and insight as to how to grow that energy and become one with that energy as a priest or a high priestess of that time that had that ability.
Now, do you find that the more that the person has already done their journey in other healing modalities, the more receptive they are to it? Or do you find that sometimes learning all sorts of stuff can interfere with the process because of crucial differences?
It kind of goes both ways. If someone has already learned 4 or 5 different modalities, they sometimes can be a little resistant to learning something new that maybe contradicts something that they've already learned. Mm-hmm. Okay. But on the other end of that, if you are a newbie, so to speak, and know nothing, and this is your first endeavor, then this can be the one that really awakens a person to where they need to be.
So I need to come to you if I want to wake up?
That might help.
Come on, Aaron. After all this time, you don't know I'm beyond help. So I want to take you. Aaron is going to be at the Web of Light Expo. He's going to be there with his lovely bride, and he is going to be speaking. I just want to. I don't commit anything to memory anymore. I get too many things going on in my head. Aaron on Saturday at 1:45 is going to be speaking on biomorphic geometry, the new science of healing, and you're going to be showing us some examples of that today. Correct?
Correct.
Great. And then on Sunday at 11:15, prevent cancer by resolving precancerous fermentation. Now that sounds strangely like I would need to sober up. I don't know that that's in part of my.
Well, neither one of us are going to do that. So.
We won't invite Aaron back when we have the full bar. I'm afraid he wouldn't approve. Again, this is Earth Day weekend at the Web of Light Expo. Biomorphic Geometry, the new science of healing, Saturday at 1:45, and prevent cancer by resolving precancerous fermentation on Sunday at 11:15. And I just want to make sure I got that in so people can come in here. So tell me about your shirt.
Okay.
And then give Lori an overhaul.
I probably need it.
Good.
This particular shirt, as it says, OxyCat, which is our way of saying oxycatalyst. So we've actually had a client with COPD, real issues with oxygen levels in her blood. Mm-hmm. And just by putting the shirt on. Now, she did this in a doctor's office. So the doctor tested her blood. It was down around 90. And she said, "Can you humor me? I want to try this." So the doctor allowed her to put the shirt on, rechecked her in 20 minutes, and her blood oxygen level was up 6 points.
Wow.
Just by putting the shirt on.
That's amazing.
So there's no embedded energy. The energy is created by a geometric pattern. So each number, each shape, which is on the front and the back, which you can't see, kind of sandwiches the body between those two energy fields that are created and helps your body absorb more oxygen. So not only for someone who's ill or has a problem with breathing or lung capacity, but if you're going to go for a run and you've got this shirt on, you've got more oxygen coming into your body as you're running, so you can run a little faster, run a little farther. Or after the run, you put it on and you get more oxygen into your blood, so you have a faster recovery.
Okay, so my question is, if it said oxycodone, could we use it instead of opiates?
That'd be a different shirt.
Oh, okay. I saw ox, you know, I was like, you know.
But I think the premise, you could.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
No, I designed a
have to learn way
THC
more
bracelet,
about
but I
this.
haven't put it out there. So you got a bracelet that just by the design produces THC in your body.
Oh, I want one of those.
So you don't have to smoke it, you don't have to eat the cookies, you just put the bracelet on.
But I like cookies.
You like cookies.
Yeah, there was a few pounds on my honeymoon I put on.
It's okay. You're on your honeymoon. It's good.
It's good. So serious question. Do you have one that helps with pain?
Not specifically with pain, because when you're working with pain, first you have trauma, and
Yes.
you may have shock. Okay, those need to come out in order for pain to decrease. So at this time, I do have an algorithm, a numerical algorithm that I'm working on for both trauma and shock. Now, by a numerical algorithm, I mean it's just a series of numbers. Mm-hmm. So just like the algorithm in your car that allows it to park itself, that's a numerical algorithm that's in the computer. So if we take a numerical algorithm, we write it out on a piece of paper, and it may be 25 or 30 numbers long, and we place it on your body, your DNA can actually read the algorithm and start the process of healing in your body.
Well, and I would see that pain is also a symptom and not a cause.
Correct.
So you can't solve a problem by addressing the symptom.
Right.
You'd have to look at what's causing the, like you said, what's causing the pain
Right.
to be able to shift that algorithm. Now, you said that you were a nuclear welder, but all of this number talk makes me think you were a nuclear engineer. Just saying.
Well, the thing is that what I do with numbers and what I do with shapes is not done like on the computer with mathematical formulas. It's a mathematical formula when it's complete, but I do it all intuitively.
So you could look at me, intuit something, and then you could say that you've got my number?
Yes.
I'll know if he ever does that, because the next sound out of him will be, ah! So tell us about, I'm going to see if I can get it right without having to read it. Biomorphic?
No, biomorphic.
Biomorphic.
Okay.
No, I failed. Biomorphic geometry. You have something, you did a little bit with me before we started, and I was like, why are we not doing this on camera? So because they did a little with me before, I'm gonna volunteer you as the guinea pig.
Absolutely.
He's good at volunteering other people.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's
Hey,
okay.
look,
It's all good.
I already got.
You already got yours.
I already got a healing here. I got a little
Nice.
something over there before the thing. I got a healing here.
Yeah.
You know. So go ahead.
I'm very excited.
Can you explain to our viewers explain to Lori, and our viewers will see what it is you're getting ready to do, and then go take her through that process.
All right. Well, biomorphic geometry. Bio, working with the biology of the body. Morphic, because it changes as your body needs it. And geometry, because it is geometry in scope, whether it is a series of numbers, which would be algorithms, or whether it is a combination of shapes of all different sizes. So what I'm going to show right now is the biomorphic geometry balance card. Now, if we wrote balance on this card, you'd look at it and you say, I know what balance is, and I know where I'm out of balance. However, this is going to project the energy of balance and show you areas of imbalance that you may not be aware of. But not only does it show you, the waveform energy coming from it will help you release it. Nice. If you had the time to sit with it and breathe it out. So all of that is designed in the geometric pattern. And it bypasses the brain, because looking at the card, you just can't figure that part out. Okay, so that's the whole concept, is that it's through the geometric patterning itself, energy is created. No embedded energy of any kind.
Fascinating.
You ready to give it a try?
I am.
All right,
What do you want me to do?
uncross your legs, please, and just sit back. Now, this projects an energy field up to 6 feet. Okay, so you don't have to be right in front of it, so to speak. So I'm just going to point it over in your direction. And I'd like for you to try to be aware of where you feel the energy in your body.
Right now, I feel it in my chest.
Feel it in the chest. All right. And then I'll rotate it.
Now I feel it. Like,
Okay, kind of top down to the pelvis.
I feel it mostly in my head right now.
Mostly in the head, okay. And this is done to show you that there is no right side up, upside down with biomorphic geometry. Any way you turn the card, it's going to show you another place of imbalance.
Apparently I'm imbalanced everywhere. I feel it in my legs, and I feel like it's kind of like everywhere.
Okay.
But I feel it mostly in my legs when it's that way. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Now, do you have any area in your spine that you know you have a little discomfort from time to time?
I have a bulging disc, yeah.
Okay. Now, it won't put a bulging disc in, okay? But what it can do is soften the trauma around the bulging disc to help that relax so it doesn't bother you as much.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, put that one on your thigh and put this one on the other one.
Okay.
Place your palms directly on top. and then let us know what you feel as far as the energy coming from the cards.
I feel like, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like a wave, a warm wave of energy has come from my arms up to my head and is back down through my whole body.
All right. Now, this one on the left side,
Yep.
I want you to rotate it clockwise, right about there.
Okay.
Not too far,
Not too far.
Back slowly.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
All right, palm down.
Yep.
That one doesn't need to be rotated at all.
Okay.
That should take the energy right to the bulging disc.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. I feel it specifically in my disc right now.
All right. So if you think of an old-fashioned radio where you had to really fiddle with the knobs to get the static out and get the station right on, okay, you can use these cards like that and you can rotate them 360 either direction, and you can fine-tune sending the energy to any part of your body where you need it, any organ, any gland, okay, any muscle.
I mean, it is incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
See, I didn't get that far with them before the show went on. Now I'm going here. I want to play. I want to play.
Incredible.
Okay.
You really do. As you move it, you can feel it in different places.
Exactly. So when you have it going to an area like your neck, the original trauma in your neck is still, I'm seeing it about this big. So for me, I see the trauma like a bruise that's still there. So as long as that's still there, the surrounding tissue won't relax to allow a decrease in the pain, because you mentioned pain earlier. You have to look at all the circumstances that are causing the pain. So sometimes I'll find pain in someone's neck that's coming because their tailbone is out of alignment. It has nothing to do with the neck. So you got to work on the tailbone and sacrum to get rid of the neck pain or the headache or whatever.
I tell people that all the time. Pain is rarely where the problem is.
Right. So in your case, it is because you have a bulging disc. But when you get the trauma out, now the neck has the possibility of loosening to the point where the bulging disc can go back in. Because as long as that trauma's there, can't happen. It's
Right.
holding and trying to protect.
Right. And even though, I mean, it doesn't bother me all the time, just flares up from time to time.
Yeah. Well, over the years, I've had probably more than 130 bulging discs go back into place.
Yeah.
And it first get the trauma out, get whatever shock there is out from the original injury, and the tissue knows what to do. You just have to give it a little assistance.
Right.
And I would say the biggest, best example of that is I had a former gymnast that had 8 bulging discs. We did 4 or 5 sessions to get all the trauma and the shock out of her body. And on that final session, did a 2-hour session, and she was very visual herself. She could see the bulging disc as they went back in. And we got all 8 back in a 2-hour session. But we had to get all that shock and trauma out from all those injuries.
Yep.
And I feel it releasing. I feel it breathing a sigh of relief.
Yes. Put little smiley faces on all those cells.
I mean, it's like, oh, finally. That is amazing. I would sit here the rest of the time with these.
Let me see him for a second. So my question is, which way would I? It's so funny. I did this, and I'm still going to ask my question, but the one on the left immediately got like 10 degrees warmer than the one on the right. So yeah, I can definitely feel that energy.
I always say it's not bad for a piece of paper.
Yeah. Oh well, the power of geometry and sacred geometry and shapes and stuff. Yeah, and that definitely is also connected to your Egyptian lifetime, because they knew a whole lot that we never gave them credit for.
So you might call this modern day geometry.
Yeah.
So it's not sacred geometry, because sacred geometry is more about the exactness of the shapes, okay, and everything exactly proportioned. This is quite disproportioned, but for a whole different reason. Okay.
Well, and I know that's a term that's used in other places, but I guess what I wanted to say is I always knew there was a sacredness in geometry and shapes and figures and stuff like this. So now, which way on the dial would I turn it if I wanted to get rid of my largest pain? And so that it would, so let's say that we would finish the taping and I'd find out that Washington, D.C. had disappeared. I mean, because that is the largest pain in my life right now, is everything that's radiating out of there.
Hey,
Is there a dial
my sister
turn?
works in D.C. You know, you just keep
We'd need a lot of people working together.
Well, we could just highlight the ones that we want DC to do.
Yeah, just not my baby sister, okay? Because she's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Okay. No, Sue and I tend to do this more just for clients.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just going to, did you want them back?
Oh, I would keep them if you give them back to me. You better give them back to him, or they're going home with me.
No, I'm playing.
Well, actually, this set belongs to Kevin. This is our gift to you.
Well,
Oh, well,
I'd be
thank you.
stealing them from you then. So, so you better hang on to it, because that was truly amazing. And just like moving that one just a little bit, you could feel the complete shift. And just when you were changing the directions and you could feel it, it was truly amazing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much. And of course, anybody that is in tune with their own body when they're using it can use them, like, you know, I'm not going to say as efficiently as you use them, but like it's kind of like, okay, yeah, no, this, you know, you're right, this one needs to stay, this one needs, you know, stuff like this, which makes them, I mean, it's nice when you have a tool that your practitioner uses that's effective and they like it. It's 10 times more powerful when it's a tool that they can give you and you can use yourself.
Correct.
Then you're talking about really shifting stuff in the world.
Right.
Now, not only using it this way, but one of the most beautiful things you can do with these cards, it will project the energy of whatever you place in front of it. So if you prop the card up and you put a homeopathic in front of it, it will actually pick up the holographic imprint of the homeopathic and bring it into your body. Okay, so any herb, any supplement, anything else that you would put in front of the card, it will project that energy up to 6 feet.
Now, does that make any difference which side of the card I use?
The working side is that black and white side.
Okay, so if I wanted to project the energy of something, I would put it in front of the card.
Right, put it 8-10 inches in front, and it'll project the energy of that glass and paint and whatever's
I'm
in
just
the
looking
cup.
for the just looking for the caffeine. I was just thinking that, you know, if I could kind of project the.
If you wanted to project the caffeine,
Yeah.
you put a couple drops on a cotton ball, something clean, or a shot glass with no writing on it because you don't want to project the ink.
Yep.
Okay, because what is a shot glass? It's sand, comes, you know, crystal basically, and it will project it. So we actually did a little thing kind of by accident, but you know, you sip out of your glass of wine and you make a mistake and you just put it. Well, if you put that glass of wine in front of the balance card, you won't even have to drink the whole glass. You'll be tipsy before you have 2 or 3 sips.
All right, so we're not doing that.
I
'cause
was
I like my
just
wine.
thinking, think of how much we could save on the bar bill, though, honey.
Well, you're right, because Bruce keeps telling me we need to stop drinking so much wine.
Well, I'm thinking, you know, you go out to friends, you know, with the bar, you get water, they buy the drink, you put the card in front of them.
But the only problem is they're expecting you to be the designated driver because they think you're drinking water, and you're not. You're getting drunk off their
You've never ridden
stuff.
with me. No one ever wants me to be the designated driver.
Okay.
I'm just
Good
saying,
point.
you know.
Good point.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
but
it was a
these,
speed suggestion, not a limit officer.
but
true
these are
and
just
answer.
this is just one of many tools that we have created over the years that that we're using biomorphic geometry with. So we have things to help with chemical sensitivities and post-traumatic stress and all types of things, and it's all cards.
That's
We made it easy.
fascinating. That is fascinating.
Okay. I just had this image in my head of doing this, like dealing the cards. Okay, so let's see. Okay, you need chemical sensitivity. You need I'm not going to go.
No.
Anyway,
Just, yeah.
I'll stop while I'm behind.
But that's fascinating.
She's still in.
Yeah, I'm still up here in happy La La Land because that was so amazing. I'm liking it here.
And I could definitely feel the energy flow. Of course, I wasn't getting my tuning directions from the expert over there, but I could definitely feel the shifts and changes in the flow in my body. So I will definitely work with those. So I have to ask, so you're going to actually be talking about this at the expo some, right?
That's what I do. I am the demonstrator.
You are the demonstrator. So people are going to be able to come and actually experience.
Yes. You can't.
Now are you gonna wear the raw headdress? I want to see the raw headdress.
He'll wear an Egyptian shirt, okay?
I can do an Egyptian shirt. I don't have the actual headdress. I can put one up kind of, etherically, but everyone won't see it.
I'll see it. Well, I don't care about everybody else. No, go ahead. So when people come to hear you speak, they're going to hear you speak, but they're also going to be experiencing a healing by being in the room.
Correct. Now, healing can be done with the cards, because I have a way of projecting this energy to a whole auditorium of people, and they can all experience the balance card the same way you did. So when I rotate the card, they would all feel the change in their bodies, where the energy's going. Of course, the other way, which is, my heritage, so to speak, of, my Egyptian lineage, is to project that energy either from my hands or from my third eye, and to be able to relax muscles, adjust things, release emotions.
Okay.
So everyone in the room has the potential to receive a certain level of healing, depends on what they're open to.
Well, yeah, it always, you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. I've referred to this movie I've actually several times in different shows. It keeps on coming up. Maybe I need to watch it again. Did you ever see the movie Resurrection with Ellen Bernstein in the late 70s?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I've seen that and the remake.
Oh, I didn't see the remake. I didn't really did a remake. I loved. I'll have to check out the remake. But yeah, there's always that moment when she goes to do the hands-on healing. She didn't. You seen it? She had a near-death experience. She was leading a kind of like drunken sot life like you and Bruce live, and then she had a near-death experience, came back, could do all this fabulous healing. And she went to heal this woman, and she walked away and told her grandmother that she couldn't do it. She couldn't help the woman, and the grandmother asked why. She said because she needs her illness, because she's holding on. She was holding on to it.
Some people do that.
Yes.
And this was a movie in the late 70s. I mean, it was really ahead of its time. That and On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. I mean, a reincarnation movie in the 70s with Barbra Streisand singing. It doesn't get any better.
I know, right?
But anyway, sorry. So let's ask the question that is going to make Lori and I very sad when you answer it, I'm sure. What do you mean by fermentation in cancer? He's going to want us to become sober, I can tell. Go ahead.
Back in 1938, the Nobel Prize was given for finding that a precursor to cancer is the fermentation process that happens on the cellular level. Okay, that was Otto Warburg who received that Nobel Prize.
Okay.
And the second Nobel Prize in 1942 followed up with the same research, that there needs to be a precancerous fermentation in the body in most, not all cases, that precede cancer. So one of the things that we actually have a numerical algorithm that we can place in front of the card, project it out into the whole room, and only the people that have precancerous fermentation going on in their body will actually feel the energy.
Interesting.
So whether it's, I don't care what part of the body it is, they're the only ones that will feel it. So I actually did this an auditorium up in Vermont, and there was a guy that came up to me later. He said, I feel energy, and when you projected that in the room, I was so disappointed I didn't feel it until you said what it was.
Right? Then he's like, thank you.
Be happy. Be very happy.
So yes, so that's one of the things. If we know that we have something percolating in the body, now we have the opportunity to work with that before it turns into something that is measurable in the, on a medical scale.
So us fermenting up the body with margaritas, Jack and Cokes, with, you know,
Whatever.
cinnamon whiskey, like the Fireball, that doesn't, that's still okay.
That's still okay.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey, I have a prescription for the wine. That's all I can tell you. My doctor told me I had to drink 2 glasses.
You have a prescription for wine?
I do. 2 glasses a day, every day. I can't do it, though. I can't drink that much wine. But I give it a good college try, a couple nights a week.
Who's your doctor?
Sadly, she retired.
She needed time to drink more.
She was a great doctor. 4 cups of black coffee in the morning and 2 glasses of red wine every night. It was a great prescription. It worked wonders. I can't lie.
Therapeutic dose. That's all it is.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I tell myself it's medicine, not booze.
As my former business partner, who you may remember, I'm not sure. No, I don't know if you ever met Dara or not, but Dara Jane, she used to always call it. It was her medicinal. It was her medicinal dose in her drink. So you have something you put in front of the card that you've developed, and a rhythm, so did you bring that rhythm with you? No! You're going to make the 2 of us wait till the expo and show up for
we
your
are just
talk.
going to
I don't
have to
time
go to
into
his
talks
talk.
at the expo.
Yeah, you're a little crazy busy.
So it kind of looks like this. If we prop this one up,
Yeah?
so it's projecting, so you
Yep.
feel that one.
Yep.
Now we put this one in front. This one is sending the energy upward. This one is picking up the holographic imprint and bringing it into your body. So whatever we put in front gets projected.
Yeah.
So if you put that Scotch and Coke in front, it will project the energy of that Scotch and Coke. Which,
Okay, so here's the $1 million question. I'm all excited now. If I put in a piece of chocolate cake and take it in, do I get the satisfaction without the calories?
you're taking it in?
Well, I'm taking it in this way. I have my
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not going to eat any of
not
it.
going
Right,
to eat it.
it's getting the
But will
energy
I?
of
But
it.
will I get my chocolate cake fix?
Will you still get that same endorphin rush? Probably not.
I knew there was a problem.
But you're getting the energy of the cake, all of the eggs and the ingredients,
And all that sugar.
and that's the downfall. If you had sugar-free chocolate cake,
I want the high without the fat and calories. Like, could
All
you
right.
imagine?
If you
You'd
want
be a
the-
billionaire if you could do that.
If you want the high without the fat and calories, just put a joint there.
Different kind of high. Come on now.
but I know a lot of people I'm going to tell that to.
Okay, so we are actually wrapping up our time. This has been most fun and enjoyable. Again, I want to take a second and remind people that first of all, you can find Aaron at the Way to Balance in Amesbury, and all of his contact information will be underneath you because I have the best staff in my studio. I'm telling you. And he is going to, so they'll make sure that people know how to get in touch with you, Aaron, or you can just come to the Web of Light Expo, April 21st, 22nd,
Yeah, Aaron, I think that's the way to go.
where he's going to be there with his lovely bride, Miss Sue, who we had on another show. On Saturday, Biomorphic Geometry, the new science of healing. So if you'd like to feel that energy and see what's going on,
You do. Really do.
you do, yeah.
You really
We have a
do.
witness. We have a witness. Can we have an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
I am all for this. This is awesome.
This is 1:45 Saturday, and Prevent Cancer by Resolving Precancerous Fermentation, 11:15 on Sunday. Come in and see if you're fermenting. Aaron, thank you so much for coming. And I suspect you have other tools and toys that you play with?
I am constantly coming up with new things. Sue is constantly coming up with new things. And we have things that we come up individually, we have things that we collaborate on. So it's one of those never-ending stories when it comes to, because there's no limit.
So you're going to come back and visit us with a whole new set of toys someday, right? At some point?
I probably have more toys already than you have time to present on the show.
Ooh,
Well,
I hear a
then-
challenge.
Oh, well, then, you know, we're definitely going to have you back and bring some different toys next time.
Would love to.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So there's more than one way, they say, to skin a cat. But really, who wants to skin a cat? What did a cat ever do to you, right? There are also more than one ways to find the road to a healthier, fuller, happy life. Some of those ways you're not going to find in your local pharmacy. Some of them you have to step beyond the comfort zone of where you came to give yourself and those who follow you, like your children, better and more opportunities. Be brave, have some courage, and we'll see you Earth Day weekend. Namaste.